Hello, welcome back to MoneyLIVE TV. Great to have you with us. I'm Lindley Gooden, and we are right here to talk about buy now, pay later, what's happening in the market and how it's affecting banking as a whole with Thomas. Thomas, great to have you here. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. So, yeah, I'm Thomas, Chief Sales and Partner Officer at Sileon, which is a technology company enabling buy now, pay later, predominantly to banks, but also fintechs.
Perfect. Now you have your eyes firmly on this market. What's happening with buy now, pay later at the moment, do you think?
I think buy now, pay later used to be in the point of sale only. You know about brands like Affirm, Klarna and such, where you purchase and then you do installments. Now, what we see now is that bank is entering this market. They would like to offer installment possibilities or buy now, pay later functions, and challenging the challengers, basically.
Yeah. So are they not able to offer that service at the moment? Is there a problem or a missing piece in what banks can do?
Yeah, I would say it's not typically a problem. Banks have been issuing credit for many, many years, obviously. But to package this in another way that consumers or small businesses are looking for today, you need upgrades on your systems. And banks, especially the old ones, they have a lot of legacy. We have a modern platform, but it's like we need to help them to open up for integration with us, obviously, but more or less also advise them a bit, how can you enable buy now, pay later? They know quite much about they should do something, but what should they do? That's the key question, I would say.
What should they do? What do they need to do to open up to you and then to be able to, white label what you do?
I mean, it's a simple thing, from our perspective, purely API and SaaS based, so it's not that hard from an integration with us. Then, of course, they need to orchestrate communication within the bank. But, I mean, the big, thing for them is to understand where should I meet the customer and offer the buy now, pay later? Should it be at point of sale or should it be post-purchase? So what we see now, the big interest and what we are driving as well is the more of the pay later rather than the buy now within buy now, pay later.
Is that a focus thing so that customers focus on the pay later, or is it something in the process? How do you focus on the pay later thing?
So we focus quite much on the pay later because it makes sense for banks. You do a purchase somewhere, it could be paying something with your card, or you do an account-based payment and you offer them the possibility, so the customer the possibility to split that payment afterwards. So the pay later options, through our platform, we can give them the possibility to offer different type of payment plans, at the pay later stage.
Got you. How do you think this can develop as a piece of the market? Because clearly it's a need and supply thing, but what do you feel? Where are we going, and how can banks, if they want to, get access to this sort of product?
I mean, they are really now looking into this, and the pay later, as I mentioned, I see that as a key thing or move forward. And then of course, companies as ourselves, we build the capabilities. I think, there's more complexity to the back end of a buy now, pay later than many believe. So we are very focused on that. That's the only thing we do. So we have a very narrow platform, but deep in functionality. So, but I mean, banks are preparing themselves for this one. And we are, of course, helping them both from a technical point of view, but also from an advisory point of view. How should you go to market and so forth? There is potentially the biggest gap for banks. They know sometimes less about buy now, pay later than they potentially would say. So it's a balance for us, of course, to be helping or not telling them what to do, but to get them where they are trying to go.
What's the what level of? So you mentioned that the banks don't always know how complex this can be. What are those common questions that you get? What are those really the ones that you think this is such a common complaint or worry or a bit of missing information? What are the common ones?
I mean, one comment that we normally get, depending on the sort of environment we are in, of course, but at an event like this, if we are on the stage, we are challenged on, should we as a bank enter into BNPL? Is that really wise from a sustainable point of view of issuing credit? And of course, banks been issuing credit for a long time. I mean, buy now, pay later is a way for the banks to offer sustainable credit, help them to take wise decisions. I mean, that is a question that we get asked about, not from a technical point of view, but more from a how should we do it point of view. Is there any brand credibility issue by entering the buy now, pay later space?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a very difficult one for you to answer, but I guess, you will look at that bank and say, well, actually, here's, as long as they're open with you, you can assess their operations, what their products are, and the things that they are best at. Because sometimes I'm assuming it won't always be the perfect fit.
No, for sure. And I mean, we are trying to meet banks that know more about what they are trying, what they are doing. They have a product, etc. If there's no fit, we will walk away. We are not trying. We don't have time to speak with banks who doesn't focus on this subject to start with.
They need those honest answers from you as well. So that's probably a very good thing to offer. And in terms of it is a shift. Do you think that most banks could, even if they don't want to, could look at buy now, pay later as an interesting area?
I mean, absolutely, and just it's the consumers or the customers. We see a lot of interest in the small business segment as well. Small business usually have a cash flow issue sometime during a year. Potentially don't want to have an increased check account or a business loan.
Absolutely.
Same for a consumer. You don't want to have a consumer loan. You need to fund something for a short period of time. I mean, and banks are fit for the purpose, and it's about taking control and take back, I would say, to a degree, business that they have lost to the challengers, the Klarnas and their firms and Afterpay, etc. And now they, as I said in the beginning, the banks could be challenging the challengers because they have the experience. They have the databases for it, and
they have the name.
Yeah, for sure. And we know from surveys that consumers say that, yes, we would like to use BNPL if it's offered by my bank.
Yeah, right.
They trust the bank. Even though we complain as consumer, you have done it, I'm sure, I've done it.
Yeah.
But at the end, we are quite loyal to the bank and we trust them. And so I think there's a good way for the banks of moving forward with buy now, pay later for sure.
They handle our lives.
Yes.
Thomas,
thank you.
Great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And for now, that's it from MoneyLIVE TV. Great to have you with us. Streaming the future of banking. We'll see you next time.